Welcome to Kiss the Reviews. I'm Armando. That's Corey. And today we're doing 2002's Friday After Next. Before we get started, if you want to reach out and follow the show, you could follow us at Kiss the Reviews on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. Let's get into the cast now of 2002's Friday After Next. This film stars Ice Cube as Craig Jones, Mike Epps as Day-Day, John Witherspoon as Mr. Jones, Don D.C. Curry as Uncle Elroy, Anna Maria Horsford as Mrs. Jones, Katt Williams for real this time as Money Mike, and Terry Crews as Damon. I know when we did Friday, I'm like, 95. Ice Cube was like my favorite person of all time. Loved the music, loved Friday. Like, oh my God, this is great. And then I saw Friday. Oh, I saw Next Friday. And then I went, oh, and then I saw Friday After Next and went, oh, we're just recycling shit. Like John Witherspoon's got to take a shit. Like there's certain things that need to be done, lines that need to be said. And yes, you replaced some people. Obviously, Katt Williams in this one. You brought Terry Crews in, so there's like no Debo. Cool. But this movie, without either Next Friday or this one, without Chris Tucker, is just not the same.
No.
But apparently he like found Jesus or whatever, so he couldn't smoke pot on film.
And I like Mike Epps quite a bit, actually.
I do like Mike Epps a lot.
I think Meet the Blacks is a very underrated comedy. I think it's funny as fuck.
Yeah.
I think he's good in just about everything he does. I like his comedy. This character, though, for me,
Day-Day just ain't it. It just ain't it. It makes him so stupid.
I think that's what the problem is. Like, and you say the recycled jokes. So at the beginning of the first Friday, John Witherspoon, while he's sleeping, he's got his pantyhose over his head so he can fucking hook up his wave right.
Yeah.
And what is it? He's ordering barbecue.
Yeah.
Right? In his sleep. Well, in this one, Day-Day's ordering fucking food or a bitch or something. I forget what the fuck he was doing. But he's talking in his sleep and ordering shit while they're getting robbed and this massive fight breaks out.
All I want Santa Claus is 2 fat bitches and a bag of weed and 2 bags of chips to get her to the fat bitches.
This is the difference. And again, no disrespect to Mike Epps. But this is the difference between Chris Tucker being in a moment as Smokey in Friday and then going to Mike Epps, who's kind of a replacement.
Yeah.
And just filling somebody else's shoes. Because this, you can tell this is just not his character. It's not great.
No, totally agree. And that's what first, when the movie kicks off, that's what first I was like, okay, this is what we're doing. We're just recycling the same bits from the previous one. But listen, at the end of the day, because everybody got paid on this one. Like, I know in Friday, like everybody got about $5,000 a piece that had bigger roles in the thing. Like now, people were actually getting paid to appear in this movie. So people got paid pretty well for this one. So kudos to all you guys out there that were involved in this film and all the money you made, and that's all well and good. Just skipping to the end, this just ain't Friday. Like it's not as funny. It's not. But what they did here, and what I liked that they did, they went the Rocky route, because in Next Friday was like they won the lotto or something, and they had like $1 million, so they moved into a nice neighborhood, and then like Rocky, they lose it all, and now they're they start like the barbecue joint, and they're back in the hood again. So that was cool, and they did keep the plot very simple. Just like in Friday, this one is like they get robbed at the beginning and they got to pay rent by the end of the movie. Done. Very simple. And then let's pepper in some jokes throughout.
Yes. Some jokes.
Yeah, some jokes. In that regard, it was very similar to the original Friday, but let's jump into this one. So the movie opens as we have a robber dressed as Santa Claus. He breaks into Craig and Day Day's house on Christmas Eve. Craig fights with the robber, and while trying to wake up Day Day at the same time, but he's ordering food or doing whatever. So the robber takes off with Craig and Day Day's Christmas presents and their rent money. That morning, the police get there. They take the report, enter Mrs. Purley, their landlady, and she basically tells them that her son just got out of prison. And if they don't pay the rent, not only is she going to evict them, she's also going to have her son beat the shit out of them and treat them like a prison movie.
Oh, she flat out says, like, you're going to be eating my son's asshole tonight if you don't pay me rent. Because she said either I'm getting paid or somebody's getting their salad tossed. And I don't think she meant like you're working at Ruby Tuesdays. Like she meant you're going to be eating booty, and not in a kind way.
So either I'm going to get my rent money today, or somebody getting their salad tossed tonight.
Damn!
Hey.
And this is where I immediately had a problem, because I'm like, that Santa Claus beats up Ice Cube 2 times in this movie.
Yeah.
This is the same guy that beat Debo, right? 7 years ago, he straight whooped Debo's ass. Is this Rocky? Does he have like CTE now? And he's like, oh, well, I can't see straight. I see double when I get hit in the head. And that's why he loses these fights? Because otherwise, I'm immediately out.
He's 7 years older. He's 7 years older. His shoulders don't work like they used to. It's a whole thing, man.
Dude, I'm 45 and I'm about as big as Katt Williams. I would straight whoop Santa's ass. This Santa Claus, I would fuck him up.
Well,
that's my look. Again, I'm not going to say that's my only problem with the movie, because there's a lot. But this right off the bat just started off with such a sour taste in my mouth. Mike Epps being stupid and Craig getting his ass whooped. Like, get the fuck out of here.
I have more of a problem with Mike Epps sleeping through a goddamn earthquake in their fucking apartment. Their apartment ain't but fucking 600 square feet. You're not sleeping through that shit. That's first. The biggest problem I have is the problem that you have, that Craig gets his ass kicked at 3 a.m. Like he just woke up and there's a crackhead dressed as Santa. He's going to get his shots in and jump out that window. I'm just saying. Like,
oh, he'll get his shots in and jump out a window because he's a crackhead, but he ain't sticking around to fuck up Ice Cube. You know what I'm saying? Crackheads run, they don't fight.
You were correct.
Craig and Day Day then get jobs as top flight security guards from Moley to patrol a strip mall that he owns. And like he owns the donut shop that's gross in that strip mall. And Day Day and Craig's parents own the barbecue place in said strip mall. So now they have to patrol that. And we get a lot of, which again, I don't mind because that's part of adding the humor to this, but the whole Day Day going into, and Craig's like, hey, like, don't be that like overzealous, yada, yada company man, blah, 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 blah. And then, you know, him going over the top. I don't mind you throwing jokes in here, but Mike Epps' character is literally over the top ridiculous. And it almost turns into like this Laurel and Hardy, like slapsticky kind of.
Well, this is where, again, I think this part was written with a Smokey type character in mind.
Yeah.
And you got somebody else playing that character. It's total. If you put Chris Tucker back in this role, and Smokey and Craig are the security guards, and Smokey's going off and like, hey, blow my whistle, and you got to give me your number if you're going to park in this fucking parking lot, bitch. You know what I mean? If all of that stuff's happening, 10 times funnier.
Yes.
Because that's the kind of character it's written for. Yeah. Mike Epps just is not that kind of guy.
Not me. That shit is boring, man.
So yeah, I was with you. I'm totally with you. Like all of these scenes where he's like wiling out and stopping people in the parking lot and get out of here, church ladies. I'm just like, dude, like this is just. It wasn't even like
I don't know.
bad. It was just like, come on.
The only thing I do like, as far as like him stopping the church ladies from like singing Christmas carols, anytime you call an old lady a hooker, it's funny to me. I don't know.
I do like in the scene where Ice Cube rolls up and he's like, come on, man, leave these old ass ladies alone.
Well, and again, the one consistent through these movies is Ice Cube. Ice Cube is just generally a funny dude. The way he delivers those lines works. And like you said, with Epps, I think they just needed somebody else. And again, I love Mike Epps. You love Mike Epps, but I just think they needed somebody else. They needed Chris Tucker is what they needed. Or somebody like him.
Mike Epps just isn't good at being dumb.
Yeah.
He's good at being a coward. He's good at being like scared. You know what I mean? But he's not dumb for most of his characters. And this guy's just fucking dumb.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, and later that day, they meet Donna and Money Mike. And Money Mike runs a shop called Pimps and Hoes. They see at Pimps and Hoes a couple of people try to rob the store, but Craig and Day Day catch them. Money Mike tries to offer them a cash reward, but Craig says no and invites them to his Christmas party that they're having at his place in their apartment later that night. And then we roll right into the gang of dudes who are apparently the grandsons of the church lady Christmas carolers. These guys chase after Craig and Day Day. They get away. They're up on the roof of the strip mall and they hide. So the crew beats the shit out of Molly.
And this is one of the truest things I think I've ever seen is don't sleep on hood church ladies.
Yes.
Because they'll
100%.
tell you how much Jesus will save you and all that shit. And then they will fuck you up if you disrespect them. Straight up.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
just don't cross. They're the ones you don't cross really in the hood.
Listen,
I don't care what color you want to wear on what street. Don't cross the old ladies.
I'm going to tell you this. If an old lady gets so mad at you, right, like they do at Mike Epps earlier in this piece, so mad that not only, because, yeah, the swinging of the purse, that's just an old lady thing across the board. But if they get so mad that they take off their fucking shoe and throw it at you, that's a lady you don't want to mess with because she's calling somebody in her family that's younger, faster, and stronger than she is, and they're going to fuck you up later in the day.
Facts.
That's what's happening next. After Molly gets the shit beat out of him, he finds Craig and Day Day eating lunch and fires both of them for not helping him out. So Craig here then gets the idea to charge people because they're having the Christmas party anyway. So he's going to charge people to come to their Christmas party so they can raise the rent money.
Which, how is this not your first idea to begin with?
Exactly.
You're already having the party. It makes sense.
And my whole thing, and this is what made me laugh about it, because they're like, oh, they get the security job, right? And it's their first day on the job. They literally just got robbed that night. And their idea is to, as security guards, not rob any of the stores, which that would be my first thought, but we won't go there. Their first thought is, hey, if we do a really good job, we can ask for an advance on our paycheck. It's your first day. I don't give a shit if it's Molly or Holy or whoever the fuck the owner or the guy who's paying you. On your first day, if you asked for an advance on your first 2 weeks, they'll tell you to fuck right off.
Hell yes.
So we cut to the party here. Money Mike shows up. Everybody shows up. Everybody's having a good time. Damon sees Money Mike and immediately tries to sexually assault him in the bathroom. And Damon fails after Money Mike smashes his nuts with some vice grips.
One, this is so great. And two, this is one of the bigger parts of the Katt Williams interview he was talking about with this scene. Because the dude that plays Santa said he was supposed to be Money Mike.
Yes.
And Katt said the original script called for Money Mike to actually be raped in the bathroom. And when Katt was offered the role, he said, I would like to change it so he doesn't get raped because you're doing a comedy and that's just not funny. Which I'll admit, having not seen this, watching it, and Terry Crews closes the door, and then you don't hear anything from that bathroom
for a minute,
multiple scenes. I'm like, oh my God, what is happening? For it to turn on its head like it did, and him to grab the pliers, I am way more on the side of Katt Williams, that if he is the one that actually did want that changed, he is 100% correct. That is way funnier than any rape scene you could have written.
Oh, yeah. Well, and the fact that not only does he like get the vice grips and he clips him on the nuts, like he literally walks out of the party like he's holding him hostage. And he's like, everybody back up and everybody get back in the party. And the interaction between him and Ice Cube, where he's like, I'm going to go to my car. Like, thank you for inviting me into the party, but I'm going to go to my car and you need to hold on to these vice grips. And Cube's like, dude, I ain't fucking touched. Like, I know we said a lot of, not so awesome things about this, but like this whole scene with Katt Williams all the way to where the chick takes off in the car and he's running behind all of that is really funny.
Oh, yeah, look, dude. Katt Williams and John Witherspoon are the only two funny parts of this movie.
Yes.
Period. That's the only reason you're sticking around. So, I mean, look, I don't know if Katt's full of shit. I don't know if he's telling 100% truths. All I do know is this movie would have been dog shit if Katt Williams was not Money Mike.
Is it possible this story is true? Yes, it is.
That seemed to be outside of, like, again, the guys that have carried over from the original. That seemed to be the only casting decision that was good.
I'd agree with that. I would definitely agree with that. And we get another really funny scene, again, John Witherspoon, because, he's got to take a shit in every movie. So he can't shit in the party because Money Mike's in the bathroom, basically trying to get sexually assaulted. So he goes downstairs to Mrs. Pearlie's.
Wait. He is not asking for it, sir. He's not trying.
My bad. There is
Christ. Who are you, Nicki Minaj?
I'll reword it. There was an attempted sexual assault on Money Mike in the bathroom. So John Witherspoon's got to go downstairs to Mrs. Pearlie's to take a shit. So he goes downstairs. She comes on to him. She grabs him and like now he's on top of her. He's trying to get off. And this is when Mrs. Jones comes barging in with Ice Cube and she beats the shit out of Mrs. Pearlie, which is also a great scene. And again, this goes back to the Dolomite movies, right? Anytime you can do anything in fast motion, like in a fast forward type scenario, it makes it a little bit funnier, especially when you're beating somebody up. And they have like a couple of these like fast motion scenes where they're just like, she's smacking the shit and pulling her hair and whatever. That always makes things a little bit funnier. And John Witherspoon is fantastic in this scene, as he is in every scene that he's in.
Yeah. They had one scene like this in the original Friday where Worm gets back in the ice cream truck and he puts on his visor. Yeah. And that's a little, they speed that up a little bit.
Yeah.
This movie seemed to celebrate the fast forward of it all. And sure, we'll call it an homage to Dolomite or whatever. And I just call it like they could not get the timing down right for the shot. Basically the same as Dolomite.
Oh, yeah.
Only this is supposed to be a professional fucking movie where professional actors are getting fucking paid professional salaries now. So what are we doing, guys?
I'll agree with that. And that's most likely why they went to that as often as they did.
Yeah, this really should have been titled The Friday After We All Got Paid.
As Damon chases Money Mike around the corner because the car takes off without Mike, and Craig and Day Day, as this is going on, see the Santa Claus robber, they start to chase after him. And after going through some shit during the chase and some hijinks, the robber finally gets run over by Pinky's limousine. And the movie basically ends with Craig and Day Day getting their stolen rent money back, their Christmas presents back, and then they tie the robber up on his roof.
Not only their Christmas presents, they stole everybody's Christmas presents back.
Yes.
It's awesome. Like, this is going to be the best Christmas ever.
100%. 100%. Yeah, the one thing I did like, so there's the guy with the shotgun that chases them through. That's Mike Epps, which I didn't realize that until I was going through the credits and whatever. But that's Mike Epps. He's doing his like homage to Eddie Murphy there. But there were a couple of scenes that were really funny. I think if in the writer's room, you know, with Ice Cube, because I believe it was Ice Cube and DJ Pooh again on this one. In the writer's room, if they just went with more original jokes throughout, I think with the simple plot to this one, I think this could have been really, really good and really, really funny. But anytime that you have to like do throwbacks to the original, like, well, John Witherspoon's got to take a shit, and this person's got to say this, and we got to say you got knocked the fuck out, and we got to. The minute you start pigeonholing yourself into those things, it immediately takes away from the originality of that movie. You know what I mean? Like, just remake the first Friday, and let's call it a fucking day.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And I would also add to that the original Friday was set in our reality.
Yes.
There were crazy people in it, just like our reality. But again, like I think I said in that movie, all those people were relatable. Regardless of your race, the guys in Friday, whether it's the neighbor, the dad, the mom, the sister, Debo, whoever, you grew up with some form of those people around you.
Yep.
It's just all ridiculous. It's like a Naked Gun movie.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And you've done a complete 180 on us as the audience, where we sat down expecting to see Friday, a day in the life, but it's set in a base reality. And it's just all the craziness that comes in that's funny. And this is just like a day at the fucking circus.
Yeah.
It's so far out of the realm of like, it's a normal day. You know what I mean? Like, that's just not what we've grown accustomed to with these movies. Yeah. So that was my biggest detraction against it, is you went more the silly route with it, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But also, that's not what made Friday popular to begin with.
Yes. 100%. Well, and I mean, listen, again, I love Ice Cube. The soundtrack, again, is really good too, to this one. It was just, I don't know. It just, to me, it was just like recycled. Let's just capitalize and see how much money we can make on this. And which is fine. I mean, every movie studio does this. It's like, we made so much money on this one. Let's make another one, and let's make another one until the cash cow stops. You know what I mean? So I get capitalizing on it. And again, everybody gets paid in this one. I would have liked to have seen some just like original jokes, because I don't think the plot's bad. The actors definitely aren't bad. They're all really good actors, comedians, etc. I think you could have done something so much better than this. This just came across as very dumb and lazy to me.
So no, I think you hit the nail on the head. They had to take so much heat probably getting the first one made. Yeah. Everybody got paid so little making the first one. The second one still was a box office success, but they still didn't get paid what they should have gotten paid.
Yeah.
And then they rolled into this one, and it was like, we're getting paid. They want to greenlight this now, probably why they were making the second one, which is why they just rolled with it and had so much of that cash returned for this one. So I think the opportunity was there to just, we're getting what's ours now.
Yeah.
Fuck quality. just get it the fuck out there. Let's get our paychecks. And I'm not going to bemoan anybody for writing a script and buying a house.
Not at all.
Like,
dude,
do you?
listen, if I can make enough money to like, oh, I get to buy a house or a car, or yeah, I'm making that movie. Sorry. It could be good, it could be bad, it doesn't really matter. I'll give it the old college try, but like at the end of the day, am I getting paid? All right. That's all I give a shit about. So like, yeah, again, I don't bemoan anybody for making their money. Like that's what that business is. So, but no, I mean,
But
at the end of the day,
it doesn't mean you made a good movie. And this movie is not good.
No, it's not. I mean, listen, I'll stick with the original Friday. The other two, you can put them in a vault. I'll probably, outside of like something like this, doing a show like this, like I'll never watch these again. The original Friday's in constant rotation though. So,
oh yeah.
But that's all I got, man. You got anything else?
No, sir.
All right. Well, for Corey, I'm Armando. This is Kiss the Reviews, and this was 2002's Friday After Next.